Stop with the buts,
No more buts.
You deserve it. You work hard. It doesn't need to be validated or justified by anybody else. If you want it, it is okay to prioritize yourself and refill your cup with what you need. Hello, and this is Dannette Boudoir Photography. My name is April Courville, and I have Carly and Kirstin from Soul Secrets. They have a podcast, they do retreats, and also a little bit of mentoring. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Tell us a little bit about what Soul Secrets is and when and why you got started.
One day she called me kind of out of the blue and she said, "Hey, I want some photos." And I'm a photographer. So I said, "Of course, come on down and we'll take your photos." So we took her photos. She loved the photos. She looked at them and thought, "That's me."
This was about 18 years later, the photos.
Yes, this was about 18 years later.
Right away.
It's like way down the line. Yeah. This is midlife.
6 or 7 years ago.
Yes. And so from there, she just was, I think, hooked on herself, like realizing that she actually was something and she had a lot to offer. And she had been living this mundane life, 8 to 5, raising the kids. She had the house, the car, everything. And this really woke her up, and she realized that she wanted something more. In 2004, we said, "That's it. We're starting a podcast. We like what we're saying, and we think other people should hear it too."
Yeah, absolutely. So the truth is, going through a huge change of, let's say, a divorce after 22 years and doing the Southern lady way thing, which is crossing the T's and dotting the I's and all of that good stuff, realizing that only brought me so far in the expectation of the culture, the expectation of the South. It brought me to the end of what I needed to do, which was the job, the degree, the house, the husband. But there wasn't what about the creativity inside? What about my body? What about the pleasure that I take just in existing? It just, for some reason, it wasn't there. I gave away my free will to expectation. And so when you go through a divorce and your life is built on this castle of unworthiness, is what I'd like to say, when you pull that pin, it takes a lot to recover. And to be able to unravel yourself in order to transform, in order to find your own true love, is no easy task. And so it was through some of those conversations of healing and mentorship from Kirstin to me to help support me in my transition, in my life's journey, which allowed me to start to create music, which I never knew I could do. I had no idea. And so as we continue to walk out these conversations of transformation and really the unbelievable fact that I've written an 8-song album coming from the South and not knowing anything about music or allowing myself to be creative was quite a miraculous thing. And so we thought, well, wait a second, how can we help other women do this, remember who they are? Because in order to remember who you are, you have to take yourself out of your regular environment. Mm-hmm. You got to get out of it. And so then the retreats were born, and we thought to ourselves, we're just going to do it. We dove in and we used all of our skills and talents to just do it. And we had 12 or 13 women on day one, beachfront in Galveston, and we've had another one since then, and we kept going, and that's how it began.
So when was the first retreat?
The first retreat was last October.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what kind of women go to the retreats? Like, what are they wrestling with? What are the conversations that you're having with the women who are, going to the retreat?
I'd say hindsight is 20/20, and as I reflect on the women that have come, it's been women that have They share their stories about how creative they were and how awesome, and the life experiences and all the things. And then when they started a family and began that journey of expansion, they lost themselves, or life gave them something difficult. Mm-hmm. And they began to be hardened and just literally forget who they are. So it's women that just kind of talk about their past joy as a memory, and they haven't brought it to the forefront to know that they can have it now. Or women that don't know how valuable they are. They're exhausted. They're living in the mundane, doing the same thing every day, waking up like Groundhog's Day, taking care of the kids, cooking dinner, going to birthday parties. Nothing wrong with it, but there is more. There is so much more.
After the monotony of that, it kind of starts to lose its, life becomes a little dull.
Yeah.
And so they're just kind of looking for what else.
Yeah.
Like there's got to be more to this than.
Yeah, and I think that they also know that they're going to get a little bit of a reset by coming, because we try to host the retreats, we do host the retreats in nature. So they're always in these beautiful places, and we all know when we go on vacation, we all are able to reset. And so because we host them in such beautiful natural locations, they know they're going to reset. And so they come, I think, mainly for that. They just need to get away and they need to reset. But what they find is just so much more. I think so many of the women that come had no idea of what they were getting themselves into, to be honest with you. And when they're there, they open up, they tell us things that they've never even told anyone before. They let things go. They realize they don't need to hold on to these things anymore. And that's like so rejuvenating, so refreshing. And they can go back into their lives feeling like it's a brand new start. I mean, we've had someone come in who life had just been throwing her some hard balls. I mean, one after the other, very hard things to deal with. Honestly, we're walking this out too. I mean, this is something new to us. We just know that we wanted to create the spaces for people, and the things that are coming out of it, we're learning as well what people need and what people want, and everybody's different. So each retreat is something new every time. I mean, it's a great thing.
So you start out with a framework of like, okay, this is how it's going to go, this is what we're going to do, but then you sort of just let the women dictate kind of how it's going to go and what's going to be done.
I mean, in a sense, we still try to stick to a little bit of what, it would be a timeline, just because these exercises that we have are pretty, what's the word? I mean, they work almost for everybody.
Okay.
But yes, there has been times when something not took a little longer than it was supposed to, but the women needed a little more time after the experience to kind of just integrate and reflect, regulate themselves. So we may have to like skip something that we were going to do because we don't have time to do it. Gotcha. But it was more important for them to integrate. Or like you said, sometimes we might see that it's going in a little different direction and maybe skip one thing or make something else longer or something like that. But we do like to have a good timeline of things, because really what we're doing is for everybody.
So what sort of things are you doing at the retreats? I mean, clearly community is important, right? I would assume that a lot of women who go, you come as one person, but you leave as friends. So they make friends and you kind of find yourself a support system. But what else are you doing at the retreats? We're
doing vibrational sound therapy, which everyone is a sound. Our mere existence is a sound and a vibration. And so with a sound bath or vibrational sound therapy, it's these little crystal bowls, and it creates a sound to help open you up and relax. It helps stabilize the nervous system. It helps with emotions as well. It almost puts you in this beautiful slumber, and it's a really great way to kind of start the retreat off to where you feel relaxed. It kind of does what alcohol does without the alcohol. Literally relaxes you everywhere, so that you can not only share and speak and be comfortable, but also receive. And then you do art therapy, you'll come up with some amazing things, and we all get to create because you're super brilliant at that.
Do some sort of art where everybody is able to really sit and think about, it's sort of like a vision board in some sense. I'll usually kind of make it a different theme. Like last time what we did was inner child work. So I had everybody before the retreat send me a photo of themselves from when they were small, around age 8 to 10. So we just made art, made the canvas represent us, or maybe something we loved as a child, or anything that was significant to us. And then we each got up and explained our piece. And that, I think, was
it was so powerful.
This explaining the piece was really powerful, because everybody was able to really.
You're bringing back memories of art school and having like critique day where you.
Except we weren't critiquing, but
you bring your piece up and kind of talk about it. And,
yeah, pretty much. But we have different women with different experiences, and some of them don't have a childhood experience of the artwork. or ever doing that. And so doing it and going up there, never having that experience of being, let's say, lifted up or adored as a child and doing the artwork, I mean, so much healing with what you would think was really simple, you know?
Yeah.
But that can be a very vulnerable place for someone, especially if they're not, you know, you and I as artists, that's kind of part of our fabric. But if you do not consider yourself creative or an artist, and having to make a piece and then get up in front of a group of people and talk about it is a very vulnerable place to be. So I would imagine that just that alone is scary, but also where the growth happens.
Exactly.
You know?
We actually had that very example at our first retreat. There was a lady who she didn't feel that she was very artistic, you know, and she didn't really have a whole lot on her canvas, but she had her photo and she had a big giant heart painted around it. And I think she did have a little bit of a hard childhood, and maybe not feeling loved enough, but she was able to, I think, keep looking at just the picture of herself. And then when she got up to speak, she did feel a little embarrassed because she said, wow, everyone else's is so good and mine's so empty. But we were all there able to encourage her, and we were saying, you know, how beautiful her piece was, just that it was simple. And we were just giving her love, and, you know, she was just feeling and being able to receive the love because she was up there. So.
Some of the other things that we do is, my jam is dance and movement and embodiment. I just love it. So I'm currently curating little mini classes and events in Houston. And there's a series that I'm doing right now called Reclaim Her. And so I'll do it on, let's say, sacred rage or sensual dance. And it's so much more than sensual dance. It's journaling about where you stand in movement in your body. What are you letting go of? What are you keeping? And then we start with breath work to move things out of the body. And then we start moving our body and dancing and witnessing as we release these things that are not serving us, but they are blocking us.
Right.
And so a lot of times women don't acknowledge that they exist, and they forget. And when they come to class, they remember.
I really like that you mentioned that, because, you know, doing a boudoir shoot, as you may know, like posing someone, some of the poses that we do in the boudoir studio are a little challenging. And I can always tell if a client is aware of if they're in tune with their body or not. And it's surprising how many women are not in tune with their body. And I would imagine the movement part is very similar, in the sense that the more in tune you become with your body, and the more you move, and the more you're aware of like what's going on, the better your experience. But also there's kind of a little bit of an emotional connection there too, whenever you start to tune in. And
definitely, it's about like developing your own trust in your own decisions and feeling confident in that, and knowing that all good things happen and come to you, and you can create that, and you can say, let your yes mean yes and your no mean no. And I feel like that's one of the most powerful things, you know, to experience, especially I can imagine with your shoots as well, like how powerful and necessary I'd say that it is.
Did you want to add anything about the retreat?
I'd say that it's for women that are tired of the same thing, but know that they are worthy for this experience. It's not just a regular vacation. It's a letting go of old timelines, old ways of being. It's a reset of who you truly, truly want to be, and who you know yourself to be, or maybe you don't know yourself to be. It's like your life gets to be re-navigated after this retreat. You basically change lanes and go in a different direction of what you like. And so you have to know that you're worthy of this. You know that you're worthy to experience something better in life. And so we're calling ladies that are tired and worthy.
And I do want to say, when you're done with our retreat, you're going to want to come do a boudoir session, because you're going to feel so good. Seriously, you're going to feel so good about yourself that you're going to be ready to just take it all off in front of the camera. No, but I mean, you know, a boudoir shoot is just so exhilarating. And when you feel good about yourself in here, you're going to feel good about yourself out here. So.
Yes, absolutely. They come to you guys first.
That's right. Come to us to get
their heart open.
Yes.
Get in touch with their body.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if someone wanted to work with you guys or, go to a retreat, how often do you host them? If, the dates don't work out or whatever, how often do you guys have them? Where can people find more information about the next one that you're hosting? All that good stuff.
Yeah, well, we would, of course, love to have you at any retreat, but we try that right now. We're having them twice a year.
Okay.
I would love to have 3 a year at least. I mean, it does take a lot of planning.
Sure.
A lot goes into it. And then we need time for the word to get out and things like that. So right now we're doing 2 a year. So we'll do this one in September. The next one will probably be in March or something like that.
So the spring and the fall.
Yeah, something like that. And you can find, like I said, more information on soulsecrets.life. And then we also do our podcast. Yes, the Soul Secrets podcast. It's on every podcast platform. And so you can keep up with us there as well. And then we do have a social media. We have an Instagram. It is soulsecrets.life on Instagram.
So the other thing that we're planning on doing these mini day retreats as well, because it's easy accessible. We can get people to know about it. So we are in process of curating those things and bringing it to Lafayette, doing some in Houston, and also maybe curating events for men and women or just men. So we're open to really just seeing what the public needs, what people need, and seeing and using our skills to create something specific for you, or maybe a bridal party or family members. We're really open.
So if there's a group of people that need to feel connected or maybe unwind a little bit, you guys are open to hosting those kind of events as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and honestly, if that was the case where someone already had a group that knew they wanted to go, we can easily actually plan that within a couple weeks.
Okay.
So we can do those more often. I think the reason why we have them spread out now is because it does take a while, months, to get the word out for enough people who value this experience to find it. And so we want to give them time, to find it. But if you already have a group, and if it's a work group, if you're realtors, like she said, a bridal party, bachelorette party, anything like that, we can set something up, or just a group of friends.
Yeah.
Even that want to experience this
like
together.
girls' weekends.
Yes.
That sounds really fun.
And we can curate the retreats for who it is.
So in terms of your public retreats, they're targeted towards women, but do you have a specific age demographic is it mostly moms? Is it mostly what are the most common people that are going to these?
That's a good question. I would say it's not targeted specifically to any age group. We have had all of the above. Mm-hmm. But we do find that it is more middle-aged moms that are really enjoying the getaway, the reset, because when you're in that place in your life where you're checking all the boxes, you've got the husband, you've got the kids, you've got the house, you've got the car, you're working 8 to 5, you totally forget about you. Mm-hmm. And I think the hardest part, though, is that most women, they know that, but do they know that they deserve to feel that they deserve time away? Because I feel like I've heard people say, I would love to, but I just don't have the time. Well, we just have to make time for ourselves. And it's getting that message out that's hard, I find.
Yes.
Because women especially, we don't feel like we can take the time. And that's part of the reason why we started doing the retreats, is because we needed them as well.
Yeah.
We needed the time as well. And so we stepped up and took up for ourselves.
Yeah.
And we said, we're going to do this. This is something we want. And if it doesn't exist, we're going to create it. If you build it, they will come. That's really literally what I said to you. I said, Carly, if we build it, they will come.
I think that women just in general, whenever you said, I would love to, but even for what we do, I hear that all the time.
All the time.
I would love to, but, whether it's a retreat or a boudoir shoot or a solo trip or a designer purse or, whatever it is that you would love to do, I think that is the message for our viewers out there is, stop with the buts,
No more buts.
You deserve it. You work hard. You know, it doesn't need to be validated or justified by anybody else. If you want it, you know, it is okay to not put your children first, not put your husband first. You know, it is okay to prioritize yourself and refill your cup with what you need, because it is, I'm sure the women who go to the retreats, you know, the woman that you were talking about that was really excited to leave so that she could go implement these things, I'm sure her family and the people in her life also saw an improvement in their relationships because she felt like she was being renewed. And I think that's kind of a universal message for all women out there who, you know, are trying to fit into this box of what society is telling us we need to do, what the South and cultural norms is telling us we need to do, and, you know, a universal message for all women out there who, you know, are trying to fit into this box of what society is telling us we need to do, what the South and cultural norms is telling us we need to do, and, you know, we can only stay in that box for so long, but over time, we have to get out of that box and figure out what it is that deep down, what it is that we need. And sometimes it takes an outside person to, you know, see yourself as a third party, or be with a community of women who are also going through the same thing, or just being in a space that is safe and accepting for you to even find out what that outside of the box is. Because I feel like a lot of women who get to a certain age after fulfilling all of the needs of everyone else, we get to that point where we're like, okay, what else? Something is off. I am not feeling the way that I feel like I should, but what is it that I need? And I think a lot of women don't know. Exactly. And there's a lot of places where, you know, like a retreat can help you kind of find that, what it is that you do need, or who you are.
Right. I mean, I've seen so many patients. I'm a registered nurse by trade, by the South expectations, registered nurse, and I've seen so many patients, men and women. I can see where they stopped. I can see where they just said, well, I'm this age, or my husband doesn't like that, or I can't do this, or, well, that's the way it is. No, ma'am, that is not the way it is. Right. And if you stop, you stop. But I thought, we're midlife right now. This is where we kind of try to figure out, is there more? Well, yes, but we get to create that, and we get to find out there is more. And my goodness, as we create that there is more, it is just such beautiful fuel to continue doing what we're doing and serving others, especially when the light bulbs go off and they get so excited and blown away. There's no language for it. You can't really speak the experience because it goes off inside of them. And it's just, I mean, even having, you know, a woman in her 79 or 78 years old, bringing her wisdom to the retreat and bringing her fire and her example of how she never gave up and she never just stopped. Wow. Loved having her. It was amazing.
She was a guest, but she was also an inspiration to the other guests. I mean, so it's not even just us. It's not even us as the curators that help implement or help these women. It's the other guests helping each other. I mean, we're building a sisterhood. Yeah. You know,
helping each other.
Yeah. And the thing is, if you don't ever just step out of your comfort zone, or just put down the responsibilities, or just take out a loan or whatever you need to do to get there to do it, you're not going to find what you need. You know, you're only going to find it if you go looking for it. And then not only you're going to find it, but you're going to break free and find way more than you expected to find.
Yeah. Growth exists just outside our comfort zone.
Yes. Yes. And what is on the other side of fear is the door.
Powerful stuff.
It's the door. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Carly and Kirstin, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for being on. And again, one more time, where can they find you? Socials, website?
You can find us on soulsecrets.life, where you can check out our next beach retreat. Also on Instagram, soulsecrets.life as well. And we're happy to connect with you. We'd love to meet you and come to a city near you.
All right. Thank you guys so much. Please subscribe and hit like. And if you love the conversation that we had today, feel free to share with some other women who you will find could really benefit from this. All right.